7:04, I do want to go ahead and start to respect people's time. Still concerned if, Chris, are you hearing me now? I'm seeing you, but I'm not hearing you. Okay, awesome. So my sessions are usually very interactive. That's one of the things that I'm gonna struggle with this Zoom technology and people wanting to more passively consume than actively consume, because for me, the power of learning is being active. It's an active sport. But what I'm gonna do tonight, let me go ahead and share my screen so I can guide you through the expectation for tonight. If you are logging on to the wrong Zoom, let me know. I've had people do that. Today is an informational session that is all surrounding the course, Improve Your Workflow, Excel A to Z. Improve Your Workflow is a series of training opportunities that we, DGB Online Academy, is offering to whomever will have us offer this type of training and support. And Excel A to Z is the training that's geared towards young professionals and managers and middle managers. Anyone who wants to learn and doesn't want to sit beside the kids, because the kids are going to actually be learning the same content. So let's dive right in. The agenda, we're not going to start with an agenda. I do want to start with a little game, so to speak. This is a picture reveal game, and if anybody is brave enough to open their microphones, I'm happy to hear you make some guesses. I'm going to be revealing a series of pictures here, and I want you to, as soon as you recognize what the picture is, go ahead and guess. Feel free to unmute yourself and don't all shout at the same time, all 500 of you now. All right, so we are just hitting this icon here, which is increasing this number. And each time I hit it, more of a picture that is behind the scene is revealed. Yeah, let me get back on camera. So what this is pictures that, as soon as you recognize any of the images, feel free to go ahead and guess. Open your microphones and guess, or send it in the chat. Nobody's recognizing anyone yet? Am I gonna have to get to 100 before we have a winner? I did it with the kids and they guessed it from I was at 20.
The Jamaican flag.
Jamaican flag, okay, that's one icon that's there. Anything else that you recognize? All right, let me speed it up and give it away. All right, so the secret is out now. Ariana and Jonas Brothers. And this thing is demonstrating one of the things. I'm just clicking on these icons here in Excel. And the way this works is one of the things that we're going to play around with so that we can understand exactly all of what is happening with this. I like to start with something like this to sort of show what we can do. So let's get into the real agenda. For tonight, welcome. Then we're going to go through the course structure and course outline. I'm also going to do a quick view of the classroom. And then I'm going to talk to you about the live session and timetabling. And then we're going to open the floor for question and answers. So the course structure, the way this course is structured, it runs for 6 weeks, which is a little long because people tend to want to get in and get out. But I want to do it this way because I'm challenging you to really make this active. And to make this active, it means that in between the sessions, you will have a chance to do two things. You will have a chance to practice what you see that I am doing. And then you will have a chance to ask questions. Unlike going to YouTube University, or taking a pre-recorded course where you can't interact with the person presenting through the live sessions, that's a part of what is going to happen. So we're sort of doing it in 6 weeks, even though I could have squashed it in a shorter time, because I want at the end of the 6 weeks for you to not just have seen the content presented to you, but to have followed the steps and to be at a certain level of proficiency when this whole thing is all said and done. So that's why it's going to run for 6 weeks. Each session is going to be once per week, 45 minutes to about 60 minutes, depending on the content and the type of engagement we have. You are also going to have access to an online course, an online pre-recorded version of this course. And we're going to be doing some real world-based assignment where what's going to happen, I'm going to describe the assignment, which is going to be extracts of challenges I've had to use Excel to solve in projects or in administration or in my personal life. So this is not going to be just something you're doing for the sake of learning a function or learning a part of Excel. It's going to be stuff that's going to be applicable, and you're going to understand what we're trying to solve and see how we can utilize Excel to get us to the responses. Email support if you have questions, if you want to email your Excel file that you're working on because you're getting an error or it's not doing what you're supposed to have it do, then you have email support from me to actually get those responses. There is a private Facebook page that is quite lonely now. I set this up because it's a good space for us to have to post information, to post comments, post articles, just to communicate as a group. So go ahead and search for Excel A to Z notice board, and I will admit you in the group. All right, so that is the structure. That is what is gonna be happening over the next 6 weeks. So the course outline, what are we gonna be covering? We're gonna start with an introduction to Excel. One of the challenges with learning Excel is many of us learned Excel because we inherited a document that is being used by somebody else and we have to dabble in it. And oh, there is this thing happening and we didn't know how to figure it out. So we ended up sort of learning some specifics throughout that period. So what I want to do with this Excel introduction is to make sure, instead of teaching you vertically, where I highlight a couple functions or a certain behavior that Excel can do and teach you all of that, I'm going to give you a very wide base, which is going to allow you to be able to apply Excel to whatever profession, whatever application you want. So the Excel introduction is definitely going to do that. And that's going to be a significant part of what we do, so that you get that wide base from which you can build. And I'm going to be doing a lot of teaching you how to learn in Excel, teaching you how to figure out things in Excel, because you're going to meet more beyond the course than I can introduce you to in the course. So it would be an injustice for me to just teach you as if I'm going to try and teach you everything, because it's not possible. We're going to look at tables and formatting. Those are significant parts of using Excel. So we're going to spend some time on that. Excel is not half as powerful if it wasn't for formulas, and the other half is about functions. Those two core portions of the course are really what is going to do the automated part of what Excel can do for us. And those are super important. And we're going to spend some time looking at those. We're going to look at a little bit at macros. Macros is one of the things that can be super useful that you need to be aware of. So if you end up in a situation where a macro would help you, then you know that it exists. And you may need to go and refresh at that time because you have to sort of be tuned to it. But I'm going to show you how to utilize macros. There's a document I'm going to demonstrate that I used when I was working with Norwegian Cruise Line. And I used a bunch of macros on it because there was a lot of clicks to get to what I wanted. And every set of clicks that I do very often, I would record as a macro. So macro can really help you to simplify the operation and to exploit the power of Excel. No Excel course would be complete without looking at Excel shortcuts. So we're going to look at that. And module 6, we're going to look at what I call putting it all together, which is having gone through the first 5 modules, I will now sort of give you a challenge where you're going to be grabbing from all of those and putting it all together. So that's going to be a very exciting part of it as well. The classroom tour, I want to take you to what the classroom will look like. If you go onto improveyourworkflow.com, you currently see the 3 active courses. The one we are registered in is Improve Your Workflow Excel A to Z. So you may not see these 2, or you may see this one depending on how you log in. So when you log in here, it will show you on the left, you will see the entire course summarized, and these are all collapsibles. So you may see it like this when you open it for the first time, or depending on your browser, it may actually come up expanded. So the welcome to the course has 5 different sections to it. There's a message from the instructor, which is a 4-minute long video. And then there's a message from the platform that hosts the course that talks you through how to navigate. And it's pretty much what I'm going through now, but take a look. You might pick up a thing or 2 from those guys. This one here is just for you to make sure you have somewhere to look at real quick if you wanted to be reminded of the times and the dates for the live session. So this is the list of live sessions. Today is the introduction, and then beyond that, we will have 6 solid weeks of learning. I also want you guys to try this. This course outline, Excel A to Z, is a downloadable. So you can either download the PDF, or if you prefer to use this link here, this link will take you to a flip book, which will literally be, this brochure sort of summarizes what you've gotten involved in. It speaks a little bit about my background. I have been tutoring students in Microsoft Excel and statistics at the University of Maryland for the past 9 years. And for over 15 years, I've been using Excel a lot to help me manage projects. One of the things that I found was above me for the big finance managers and the VPs and all of those, the park presidents and the ship directors and those guys that I work with, they all have proprietary software that can do all of what they need to do to track their scope. But what I found in Excel was a savior where I could manage my scope in Excel. And I ended up being able to do that because I learned the ABCs of Excel. So I could build a word and then build a sentence and then write a whole paragraph, ultimately write a book. So we're going to start with the ABCs and ultimately give you the power to be able to apply Excel to the challenges that you have in your workspace and personal life. Flipping through this, take a read. It talks about what we're doing, why this course, how and so on. It's just an interesting read. If you want to share this with somebody who you think might be interested, go ahead and do that. It has a couple of testimonials. Nancy Hudson was a vice president at Busch Gardens in Tampa, and she really believed in my abilities and thrusted a lot of responsibility on me. Sometimes responsibilities beyond what I think I could handle, but I took it and I learned and I grew, and she was very happy to write this for me. So I really am thankful for it. And Kit Raines has moved on. We worked together on a project at Universal, and he really liked what I did with Excel. So he wrote a sentence here, which was quite nice. So that is the flip book that you can either look at there, or you can look at it inside the the classroom. So continuing the tour of the classroom, I think it actually moved me out of the classroom instead of opening a new tab. So once you're done with the welcome portion of it, and before you get out of that, here you have another flip book. This one is how to learn Excel functions. So this is how I'm going to communicate to you and give you materials that you will need as a reference. And oftentimes what I'm presenting here will be packaged for you to have to take away with you. So you won't have to worry too much about trying to look at capturing the screen and all of that good stuff while the lesson is happening. If you open the course content, it has a module for each week when we have a live session, and any material you need for that module, I will add there. For instance, here we have assignment 1, which is an Excel document. This document is going to be used in the lesson for module 1 on October 15. So go ahead and download this prior to getting into the session in case you want to follow along. And the way the course is designed, the more you engage and the more you interact, the more you're going to get from the course. So if you download the document and actually try what I'm doing and stay ahead of the curve, it will become an almost one-on-one tutoring session for you. And you will learn from hearing me coach others as well. Again, this is just a reminder, this is week 2, week 3, and so on and so forth. It's all here. So this is where the information will be populated. I didn't want to overwhelm you all with more than what's going to be needed. So you're going to get this delivered on a per week basis. So that is pretty much a tour of what the classroom looks like. And if you have any issues navigating the classroom or getting access to the classroom, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. I'm going to do a screen share now of an Excel document just to sort of test a couple things. I'm testing the download. I'm actually downloading it live from the classroom. I just hit this download and this file came up here. So to give you a sense of what you should expect to happen. And this is what the document looks like. You go ahead and you enable. So this is a lot of what we're going to be doing. And the documents, when I send them to you, they will typically have multiple sections. And I will try to label them sequentially so that you know we're starting with part 1, which is a totally empty document, and we're moving to part B and part 1, you know, so it's going to have some sort of sequence that will help you. I'm going to be using this to demonstrate and to teach the principles. So you can also follow along, or you can try what I'm doing after you have left the session or during the session, because it's going to be paced at a rate where you can almost consume what I'm saying and try it and then tell me, hey, this isn't working, what about this? So that's a part of what we're going to be doing. So the download works. It seems like the document is being read. Is anybody having a challenge with reading it on the screen? I'll do my best to zoom in like this a little bit more if I'm working in a localized area. And if it ends up that you can't see clearly enough, feel free to go ahead and I'll try and monitor the chat or open your microphone and let me know. I want it to be interactive. I really don't want it to be like a radio station where you tune in and you listen. It's gonna be a dialogue, which is one of the reasons why I chose the Zoom platform for it, because the interaction is fairly easy relative to the other webinar platforms. All right, so going back to the PowerPoint, we looked at assignment 1. This is a summary of the dates and when we start and when we end. We're going to have 6 weeks, and the 6 weeks do not include this week. This week is a bonus, or Jamaicans would say it's a brata. For the non-Jamaicans here, you'll hear me use that word a lot because you're going to get a lot of extra stuff that you didn't bargain for. This here is also posted in the classroom. So this is the introductory week, and then we have 6 weeks where we have an introduction to Excel, and then we have 4 solid assignments for weeks 2 to 5, and then week 6, we are putting it all together. Ebook review, I wanted to walk you through a little bit of those. This particular one, I think I went through this one earlier. This one here is how to learn Excel. This is an ebook that's available in the classroom. But I want you guys to actually download this book and take a read. It basically walks you through how to teach yourself Excel functions. Don't feel as if you need to understand all of this now, but I want you to have this, and I want you to have a sense of what Excel functions are before we get into that lesson, because you are going to hold on to the actual strong keys for that lesson if you sort of understand the path. There's a concept I learned back in Teachers College where if I'm taking you on a journey and I say we're flying from Orlando to Las Vegas, and we're going to fly over these cities, the people on the left-hand side will be able to see this, and the people on the right-hand side will be able to see that. The persons who are listening to that type of announcement and understanding what the journey that you're going on is all about is more likely to be engaged and to follow and to recall and understand what's happening. So I will often try to do that, so you know where I am going, and you know, and if you want to prepare ahead, when you come to consume the information here, it becomes a little bit more interactive. And I really am challenging you. You're already investing your time to be here, and I want you to make sure that you become super strong testimonials for this program. And that can only happen if you become active. And I will give you another challenge while I flip through this book. It continues with other functions, and then it ends with the back cover. But what I wanted to show you, super important section of it, is here I walk you through how to literally teach yourself any particular function that you want to learn. Because in this course, I'm going to go through a finite amount of functions. And there are so many functions that you will never learn all of them. You don't need to learn all of them. But what you need is the confidence to know that you can go and learn the ones you need to learn when you need it. And that's a part of what I want to help you to develop, is that level of confidence that any challenge that you have in Excel, you're going to raise your hand to say, I'll do that. Because even though at the time, you don't know what functions and combination of functions and formulas and features you're going to use, but you understand how to fish for that information, and you're confident in your ability to string it together. And another thing I wanted to mention is, once you register in any course that I offer, at any point in the future, whether the course ends or not, and you are having a challenge with Excel, feel free to email me, and I will be happy to help you to tweak a document, to look at a document to see why it isn't working the way it should, why it's giving you an error. I was in a meeting the other day, and there was a document being circulated that was probably 1,000 times the size of a regular document. It was taking everybody hours to open, and it's simply because of how it was saved. And once that document was sent to me, I was able to help them to resolve that issue. So that is a lifeline that is going to be useful for you at some point in the future. If you need to phone a friend or email a friend with an Excel question, then feel free to reach out to me. So take a look at the ebooks. We're going to have more of those populated in the classroom as we move through the weeks based on what the focus is. I think I already hinted at some of this, how to maximize this course. Try to attend all the live sessions and or view the recordings. The recordings will become less useful if everybody tries to move towards using the recording, because then I won't have the interaction to demonstrate the pain points and the challenges, or to say, okay, the way I said this, it didn't quite resonate, so I have to say it a different way. And the trigger for me doing that is your questions to me. So please show up for all the live sessions as best as you can. I know life happens and we're all managing everything in our lives, but try to do that. View the course content, which is in the classroom that I walked you through, and try to view it ahead of time and download the files that you're going to need so that you can have those ready and you can be engaged for the week. Work on the assignment. You're not going to learn the mechanics of this unless you're doing it. You're not going to realize that, okay, some of the things I'm doing on my keyboard, you're not seeing my keyboard, you're just seeing the screen. And there may be some steps that I forget to articulate. And when you actually try it, you didn't know that that was happening in the background. So in doing the assignments and working through similar steps like I am doing in the class, that is when you're going to recognize that, hey, this isn't working for me and I have this question, and I will say, oh, are you doing that, or are you doing this, or do you have caps lock on, or are you holding down the shift key, or are you just pressing it once and then proceeding? So those little mechanical steps that can be very frustrating, because one thing about Excel is it is a super powerful program, but like any other program, if you are writing a string and you're missing a comma, that may change your whole meaning. But if you understand how to use the hints that Excel is giving you, then you won't have to remember all the nuances and the details about what function goes here, when you use a comma, when you use a plus. There's going to be a lot of guide. And the way I will teach this course, I will highlight those a lot so you will know how to look out for them. Because at the end of the day, I want you to learn how to figure these things out and how to grow as an Excel user, as opposed to totally be dependent on me for figuring things out with you. Submit your assignments and your questions if you want me to assess it, to take a look at it, especially if you're doing like tables and formatting tables and learning to do that, which is something that we all will do in the work world or in our personal lives. And sometimes the experience that I bring and looking at a table, I can instantly tell you that yes, that table will work, but this one little adjustment will give you so much more power. And unless you're doing it and sending it to me for me to physically look at it, then you will miss those moments where I can point those little things out to you. Participate in the class discussions and the Facebook group. Let's make it interactive, useful, social. As I said, I really don't want it to be like a radio station that you tune into. Learn by teaching. This is a very big one here. If you commit to teach somebody that you know what you learned in this course, then you will be challenged even more to learn it. So that is a personal challenge. If you're really serious about learning this and you really want to be able to impact somebody else's life by this, or to reinforce what you know, commit to teaching this, commit to doing a 2-hour session with somebody who you know is afraid of Excel, or somebody who you work with who you know could benefit from one of the tips that you will learn here. Commit to sharing the knowledge. And that is going to help you, one, to research, to make sure you understand it. And in teaching it again, that's going to help you to reinforce and learn things even more. All right. So that's pretty much what I had in terms of a structured presentation. And this is the time where you open your microphones, turn on your cameras if you are so desirous of doing, and talk to me about what questions you have, what expectations you have for this course. And we can do a little interaction session now. I know there's not a lot of us on the call, so everybody should be able to get their questions out. If you want to state what you're expecting to get out of this course, what's your background in Excel, the floor is yours. If you want to chime in and say something. And while you guys think of who is going to go first, let me segue into something else real quick. There is an Excel in Excel course, which is meant for kids between the ages of 9 to 13. This course starts October 26th. This is a priceless gift you could give to any of your nieces, nephews, kids, friends, neighbors. If you don't mind sharing this with them and encouraging them to join, it's a $97 course, but we have an early bird discount that takes it down to $24, $25. And I want the parents to have some skin in the game, to be committed to getting the kids in so that they can benefit from it. My daughter and a couple other kids did the course in the summer, and this is what one of the parents wrote. I have two daughters ages 9 and 13 that participated in the Excel class. They both learned not just the basics of how to handle the software, and she goes on. So my daughter is actually, who's on camera now, Daniela, say hello. She's actually going to be teaching the course with me, because she, as I said, you learn by teaching, and I'm going to be there to sort of, I don't want to say fact check, but to steer and to remind her of the terminologies and all of those things that she will get with more experience. But it's a ton of fun. We try and make it interactive. So if you know of any kid that may be interested in this or benefit from it, there's an information session on the 20th of October, which is a Tuesday. All you need to remember is this Zoom login, because there's no password on that particular one. I'll appreciate if you can share this message with anyone you know who might benefit from that. I separated the kids and the adults because when I teach the kids, my focus is a little different. The examples I use are a little different, even though at the end of it, a lot of the content that we're teaching is the same, because Excel is going to work the same for the kids as it will for the grown-ups. They are just learning it a little bit early, and they are more sponges than we think. They absorbed a lot more than I thought they would. All right, so back to our Q&A. Any questions out there? Anything that you expected to get from this session? Anything that in particular you are looking for out of this session that you didn't hear me mention, or that you want to echo to make sure I understand that you're expecting that? And if you're all shy, I totally understand. I've been in your shoe before. I was once a shy guy, but not anymore. I'm excited about this opportunity to take you on this journey. It's still not too late to bring friends or family members in so that they can benefit from this experience. If you need any more information, I have two email addresses on the screen: info@youwillimprove.com, because that's what it's all about. It's about your improvement. So info@youwillimprove.com or rohan@dgblive.com. Feel free to send me an email at any time, and I will do my best to respond as quickly as I can and direct you in the right way. So if you have absolutely no questions, remember the schedule. We continue with the real content starting next week, Thursday at 7. It's a little difficult to find the perfect time. I don't know if it's a little bit too early. If you want to just put in the chat now, just put okay, or too early, or too late, or bad day, or any comment like that. That will help me to get a sense of, am I the only one who likes this time? Because I see like Samuel just joined. I don't know if it is that the time zone difference or what it is. But as I said, I want this to be interactive. So the time works for Chris, thank you. Anybody else that it doesn't work for, let me know. I will record these sessions and have them available in the classroom. So if you end up having to miss a session, then you can catch up. But the difference, ladies and gentlemen, on this call, the difference between this session and going on YouTube to learn this by yourself is having me here to guide you and having each other to help you. Like, hey, I had that problem too and I did this and it worked. So I really want you to exploit that portion of it, because I have the entire course on recorded and can literally plug it in on the course page. But I don't think that is the value that I want to offer, which is a pre-canned course, because you can go on YouTube and learn almost any one of these concepts I'm going to teach. There are very, very few things here that I think I sort of created. There are some processes that I prefer and some ways of doing things that are unique to me, and I will show you those. But the mechanics of the Excel and how it works is nothing that a YouTuber won't be able to teach you. So I'm saying that to say the strongest part of the offering that you are getting here is the potential interactive portion. So I want you to exploit that. And I'm not seeing any major concerns in the chat about the time.
So for next week, for next week, you want us the assignment done before Thursday, and then we come in with our computers ready to go on to the session?
For next week, yes and no. And let me tell you why I say yes and no. I haven't taught you anything yet. So for next week, all you have to do is make sure you download that file and have it open, because the first session is extremely interactive. I'm going to ask you to open the file and I'm going to say, I'll show you my screen for 5 minutes, then I'm going to talk you through doing on your screen something else. The following weeks, when you actually get an assignment that you have instructions and you can try it, then yes, you can show up for the session with the assignment done. But for next week, really all that I'm asking you to do is to, one, download the assignment, and two, obviously make sure you are, this course is a lot easier if you're on a platform that allows you to use a mouse to navigate through Excel. It doesn't work as well if you're on an iPad and you're using your finger to touch. You can't get some of the features that Excel offers, and I struggle with using it on that platform. So I would say the best value for your buck is to do it on a platform that has a mouse that you can use, or a trackpad. But to be more explicit with my answer, for next week, download the file, make sure you have it. And if you want to read through the ebooks, and I'll give you a little, let me show you something else that you may want to do if you are so inclined. If you go to the, are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah, we're seeing it.
Okay, so if you go to this improveyourworkflow.com, and you see there are 3 courses there. There is one for the kids, there's the one we're doing, but there is this one that I did called Improve Your Workflow Excel Basics. It has the DGB Live Academy. This is live logo. This is before DGB Academy was even born. This I did for the students at the university that I teach at, but you would benefit from this. The way I did this is just one long video that walks you through Excel introduction, but the concepts are pretty much the same. So if you want to have a head start, if you want to become the master of this, then that's another hidden nugget that is available to you for free that you can start with and exploit. That 25-minute session, which you can consume at your own pace, is in the classroom, and you can, or in an adjacent classroom that is free. So all you have to do is just go ahead and sort of register for this particular one too, and then you'll be able to consume that. If you don't need to or you don't want to, then it's fine, because I'm going to be going over those concepts as well, but I'm just showing you because I'm a nice guy. and because it's there and available. The more people use it, the more it is worth my efforts to do it. So I want to share this information as much as I can. So any other questions from anyone out there? No other questions? If there are no other questions, I'm not going to keep you. We're just going to get the function done. And if we finish early, we finish early. If we have to wait until, go a little bit extra 1 week. But in general, it's going to be between 45 minutes to 1 hour. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for